Your mind will always search for comfort, for the path that feels safe, familiar, and effortless. It resists discomfort the way the body resists pain, instinctively, automatically, and often without question. But the truth is, every time you choose the easy way, you trade a small piece of your potential for a brief moment of relief. You silence the voice inside that's meant to challenge you, the one that whispers, "You can do more than this." And with each compromise, your strength, your confidence, and your hunger to grow begin to fade. Not all at once, but quietly, like a flame running out of air. Your mind will justify the delay. It will tell you to wait for the right time, to rest a little longer, to start tomorrow. It will disguise fear as logic and weakness as self-care. And if you keep listening, days turn into months and months into years, while your dreams remain trapped in the same place you left them. But the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses, the very moment you act even when you don't feel ready, something powerful begins to shift inside you. It's not about perfection, and it's not about grinding yourself into exhaustion. It's about reclaiming control. It's about teaching your mind that discipline, not emotion, is in charge. Every time you push through resistance, even in the smallest ways, you're not just finishing a task. You're rewriting who you believe yourself to be. That's what this journey is about. Force your mind to do hard things isn't just a title. It's a challenge, a philosophy, a way of life. Because the real battle isn't out there in the world. It's within you, between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. And as you listen here on Book Sounds Better You, every word you'll hear is meant to sharpen your focus, strengthen your will, and remind you that your greatest power lies in doing what others refuse to do, especially when it's hard. Growth begins the moment comfort ends, and this, right now, is where it begins for you. Chapter 1. Force yourself to finish the tasks you keep avoiding daily. If you truly want to change your life, you must learn to do one simple but powerful thing: to force yourself to finish what you keep avoiding. It sounds simple, but it is the line that separates those who dream from those who grow. Every single one of us has those tasks that linger, quietly haunting us, sitting on our desk, floating in the back of our mind, collecting dust on a forgotten to-do list. The phone call you dread, the message you've been meaning to send, the project that intimidates you, the exercise you swore you'd begin, the book that's been waiting for your attention. Each of them stares at you silently, asking one question: will you face me today? Most people won't. They move the same tasks from one list to the next, whispering promises like tomorrow, or when I have more time. But tomorrow is the easiest place to hide fear. Every time you delay, you let your mind believe that postponement is harmless. Yet nothing drains your energy faster than what you keep postponing. The weight of avoidance is far heavier than the effort of action. Avoidance builds stress. It fuels guilt. It fractures self-trust. You begin to feel stuck, not because life is too heavy, but because you've been carrying unmade decisions, unfinished work, and unspoken words for too long. Each avoidance teaches your mind that delay is acceptable, that comfort is worth more than progress. And every time you choose that comfort, your self-respect fades a little more. That's the real cost. Not the undone task, but the message it carves into your identity. You can't trust yourself to finish. Successful people understand this on a visceral level. They live differently, not because they're naturally disciplined, but because they've trained their minds to face discomfort without argument. They've learned that avoidance is an anchor and action is freedom. They finish what they start, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. To do the same, you must first accept this truth. Your feelings will rarely support your growth. You will not feel like doing the hard things. You will not feel like making that call, exercising when tired, or focusing when distraction is one tap away. If you wait for the right feeling, you'll wait forever. Growth demands rebellion against emotion. The people who move forward act despite their moods. They don't negotiate with laziness. They don't bargain with doubt. They decide, then they execute. Forcing yourself to finish the tasks you avoid begins with awareness. You must first see what you've been refusing to face. Be honest. What's been hanging over you for weeks, months, or even years? Write it down. Don't sanitize it. Don't shrink it. Expose it to the light. Progress always begins where honesty replaces denial. Because if you can't name what you're avoiding, You can't defeat it. Once you've identified it, move to the second step. Break the power of that task by acting immediately. Not later, not after motivation appears, not when you feel ready, now. Pick one avoided task and complete it fully. Experience that release when the weight leaves your chest. That feeling of lightness isn't imaginary. It's your brain rewarding you for doing the very thing it feared. Action ends anxiety. Avoidance multiplies it. Think back to the last time you finally did something you'd been putting off. Maybe it was an email, a conversation, a piece of unfinished work. The instant it was done, didn't you feel a wave of peace? That wasn't relief from the task. It was relief from carrying it. You were never exhausted from the effort. You were exhausted from avoidance. Then comes the third step. Make this your rule. Never carry an avoided task into tomorrow. If you see something sitting on today's list again tomorrow, that's the one you must finish first. This single discipline rewires your identity. You stop being the person who drags the same burden forward and become someone who closes loops. Someone who finishes. Someone whose mind learns, I can trust my own word. That's how self-respect grows, not from grand victories, but from quiet consistency. From the daily proof that your word to yourself means something. Now imagine this in action. That email you've been avoiding, the one that feels heavier each day you delay. You see it every morning, feel the sting of guilt every night. It distracts you when you try to focus, haunts you when you try to rest. But the moment you sit down and write it, just one paragraph, one click, the fog clears. Your energy returns. That's the moment you remember. It was never the task that drained you. It was the act of running from it. This is how you train your mind to do hard things, not by theory, but by proof. Every finished task becomes evidence. Each small victory whispers, see? You can do this. Confidence isn't built from easy routines. It's sculpted by resistance. It's forged every time you act when you least want to. That's when your mind learns that you, not your feelings, are in control. Understand this clearly. This isn't about productivity. It's about identity. Every completed task rewrites the story you tell yourself. You move from, I avoid hard things, to I finish what I start. Discipline isn't a set of rules. It's a belief about who you are. If you see yourself as the type of person who runs from discomfort, your behavior will follow. But when you start finishing what you once feared, your life quietly transforms. You become the kind of person others depend on, because you finally depend on yourself. And remember, don't wait for the big leaps. Start small. Sweep the corner of your room. Pay that bill you've been ignoring. Write one page. Make your bed. Send that text. Each small completion generates momentum, and momentum is the heartbeat of discipline. One completed task gives you the energy to finish another, and before long, you've turned hesitation into habit. Finishing what you avoid doesn't just free your schedule, it frees your mind. Unfinished tasks clutter your thoughts. They steal your attention, dull your creativity, and even disturb your sleep. When you close those loops, your mind unclenches. You reclaim the mental space that guilt once occupied. That peace, that clean, quiet mental clarity becomes the foundation of power. So here's your challenge. Pick one task you've been avoiding. Do it today. Not tomorrow, not this weekend. Today. Feel the shift in your energy. Then tomorrow, pick another. Make this a daily ritual. 30 days from now, you won't recognize yourself. You'll be sharper, lighter, and more confident. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped letting avoidance run your mind. This is the essence of force your mind to do hard things. It's the daily practice of obedience to your decisions instead of your moods. It's the art of building trust with yourself, one finished task at a time. Because once you can trust yourself to act when you don't feel like it, you can trust yourself with anything. Do not carry today's weight into tomorrow. Do not let another dawn arrive with the same unfinished promises. The tasks you keep avoiding are not obstacles. They are invitations to your own strength. Every time you finish one, you rise above the person you used to be. And that's how you grow. That's how you build discipline. That's how you reclaim control of your future. One day, you'll realize that leadership isn't about commanding others. It's about mastering yourself when no one's watching. The real mark of authority isn't found in titles or applause, but in the quiet strength of someone who follows through, even when it's hard, even when no one sees it. Because composure is power. the ability to stay centered when everything pulls you apart. That's what separates those who drift from those who rise. And as you keep showing up, doing what others avoid, you'll notice something shift. People will begin to trust your calm, to mirror your steadiness, to move in rhythm with your resolve. You won't need to demand respect. Your discipline will command it. That's what true leadership feels like. Not noise, not control, but quiet certainty. The kind that says, I keep my word. I finish what I start. Chapter 2. Build discipline by forcing yourself to take the harder choices. Discipline does not grow in comfort. It grows in the moments when the easier path tempts you, but you choose the harder one instead. Every day, life lays quiet crossroads before you. Countless tiny forks that most people never even notice. Will you wake up when the alarm rings, or sink back into warmth for 5 more minutes? Will you eat what's quick, or prepare what's right? Will you start the project you've been delaying, or drift into another cycle of scrolling and distraction? They seem like small things, but they are not small, because every decision, every micro choice, is a signal to your brain about who you are becoming. When you repeatedly take the easy way, your mind begins to expect comfort, and soon it becomes addicted to it. But when you train yourself to take the harder path, again and again, you build the muscle of discipline, the quiet strength that no one can give you and no one can take away. Discipline isn't an emotion you feel or a speech you memorize. It's a practice, a daily conversation between impulse and integrity. You don't wake up one morning suddenly disciplined. You become disciplined by choosing the harder thing over and over until it becomes who you are. At first, your mind will fight you. It will beg you for relief, whisper excuses dressed as logic. You've done enough today. You deserve a break. It won't matter if you skip just once. And in that instant, that tiny pause between impulse and action, discipline is either built or broken. It's in that fraction of a second when you feel the pull of comfort and move in the opposite direction anyway. That single act, repeated across days, becomes the steel that strengthens your character. Each harder choice gives you back a piece of control. It's the process of taking power away from your moods, your fears, your laziness, and giving it back to your decisions. Imagine forcing yourself to finish your work when every cell in your body pleads for rest. Imagine refusing to scroll away your focus when distraction is calling your name. Imagine saying no to what's convenient and yes to what's necessary. These moments, tiny, invisible to the world, are where self-respect is born. Because the truth is simple, every dream you have will demand discomfort. Every goal worth chasing will require sacrifice. The path to your best life will always lead through difficulty. You cannot rise while clinging to what's easy. The great irony is that the more you choose difficulty now, in small moments, the easier your life becomes later. And the more you choose ease now, the harder your life becomes later. If you can resist the temptation of 1 extra hour of sleep, you can resist the temptation to quit when pressure builds. If you can push through 1 workout, you can endure the long nights required to build something meaningful. Small battles build giants. Each time you take the harder road, you sharpen your identity as someone who does not run. But awareness is where it begins. Discipline starts the moment you notice the crossroads. When you feel yourself drifting toward comfort, pause and ask, what is the harder choice right now? Wash the dishes now or later? The harder choice is clear. Spend an hour working or lose it to your phone? The harder choice is clear. Confront the issue or avoid it again? Always clear. Once you identify the harder path, take it immediately. Don't give your mind time to negotiate. Action must outrun excuse. And remember, the harder choice is not supposed to feel good. That's what makes it hard. But what's extraordinary is how fast the pain fades once you begin. Think about it. The dread of the gym disappears after the first few minutes of movement. The anxiety of a phone call vanishes once you start speaking. The resistance melts the moment you cross the line between thinking and doing. That's the psychology of discipline. Discomfort dissolves in motion. Still, consistency is what transforms these single victories into a way of life. Discipline isn't built from grand gestures, but from hundreds of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. You build it the way you build muscle. Repetition, resistance, recovery, repeat. 1 hard choice won't change you, but 1,000 will. Over time, your mind stops arguing. It learns your rhythm, learns your authority. You decide, and it obeys. That's the quiet power of discipline. To live in a way where you no longer wait to feel motivated, where your impulses serve your purpose instead of sabotaging it. Most people never experience this freedom. They are ruled by emotion. Tired means stop, bored means quit, fear means avoid. But the disciplined person lives differently. Feelings are data, not dictators. The rule is simple. You do it because you said you would. Let's bring this into your daily life. You finish work exhausted. One voice says rest, another says create. The easy choice gives you comfort for a night. The harder choice gives you momentum for a lifetime. You're hungry. One option is quick pleasure. The other is lasting health. One feeds your craving, the other feeds your confidence. You're facing conflict. One path avoids tension, the other builds trust. One soothes your ego, the other strengthens your character. These aren't random moments. They are the quiet tests life gives you to prove what kind of person you're becoming. And every easy choice whispers weakness into your story. Every hard choice carves strength into your identity. There is no neutral ground. You're either moving toward power or away from it. That's why setting rules matters. If you decide to wake at 6, don't negotiate with yourself at 6. Make the decision once and honor it. If you decide to exercise 4 times a week, don't open the debate every morning. The rule is written. You simply follow it. Discipline is not about arguing with yourself. It's about removing the need for argument altogether. And track your progress. At the end of each day, ask yourself, where did I take the harder choice today? Write it down. Seeing it in ink strengthens the identity you're building. You begin to recognize the emerging pattern. I do hard things. And that recognition, that quiet pride, becomes a source of energy. It isn't arrogance, it's alignment. The inner peace of someone who knows they can rely on themselves. There's another truth. The harder path weakens fear. Fear thrives in comfort. When you avoid what scares you, fear grows roots. But when you walk directly toward it, fear shrinks. Every difficult decision becomes a small victory over the voice of doubt. Slowly, you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start saying, "Let's see how far I can go." That's transformation, and discipline spreads like light. When you build it in one area, it spills into others. Push yourself in health, and your career sharpens. Strengthen your work ethic, and your relationships deepen. Discipline creates a domino effect of clarity, one powerful choice making the next one easier. But when you neglect it, you invite regret. And regret is heavy. It sits quietly at the edge of your mind, whispering about the chances you didn't take and the promises you didn't keep. It follows you like a shadow, not punishing, just reminding. The only way to silence it is through action. Not words, not plans, but movement. Because discipline doesn't happen by accident. You must create it deliberately, in the small, ordinary moments where comfort calls your name. When you want to run, stay. When you want to quit, push. When you crave relief, choose growth. That's how warriors are made. That's how integrity is forged. Every day gives you another chance to practice, getting up when you said you would, completing the work you started, honoring the promises you made. These aren't chores, they're proof. Proof that you are strong enough to lead yourself, no matter what life demands. And the reward? Freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from weakness. Freedom from the constant weight of what you should have done. You begin to live with a kind of quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to be announced, the kind that comes from knowing, I will do what I said I'd do. So today, when the choice appears, take the harder one. Do it not for applause, but for alignment. Do it until it becomes your natural instinct. Do it until others wonder how you became so steady, so calm under pressure, so immovable in purpose. Then when they ask for your secret, you'll know the answer. You built discipline, not by chance, not by words, but by forcing yourself to take the harder choices. That's how you rise. That's how you earn peace. That's how you become unshakable. There will come a moment when life doesn't ask, it demands. When comfort no longer feels like rest, but like confinement. When you look at the path ahead and understand, if you want to lead, to rise, to command your own direction, you can no longer choose ease. In that moment, discipline will no longer be a word you chase. It will be the air you breathe. You'll move with quiet certainty, guided not by moods, but by mastery. You'll feel it in the steadiness of your hands, in the clarity of your choices, in the way your voice no longer trembles when life tests your resolve. That's when you'll recognize the truth. The harder road was never punishment, it was preparation. Every choice you made against comfort shaped you into someone unshakable. Every decision that hurt a little built the strength that now holds you upright. You won't need to tell anyone you're disciplined. They'll see it in the way you act without hesitation, in the calm you carry when others panic. Because discipline doesn't need an announcement. It reveals itself in your presence, steady, grounded, untouchable. And that's how you'll know you've built something real. Not perfection, not control, but command. The kind of quiet power that leads not with noise, but with example. Chapter 3. Take control of your mind when it looks for escape. Your mind has 1,000 clever ways to run from what matters most. It whispers promises that sound innocent. Do it later. Rest for a moment. You deserve a break. It offers you distraction disguised as relief, comfort disguised as care. But behind every escape your mind suggests lies the quiet theft of your potential. This is how the mind protects itself. The moment pressure appears, the moment discomfort rises, it scans for exits. It wants to flee the tension of effort and find ease. But if you do not seize control in those moments, your mind becomes the driver of your life, and it drives in circles. That's why mastering your thoughts when they search for escape isn't optional, it's essential. It's the foundation of every other discipline you will ever build. We've all felt it. You sit down to work, and your phone suddenly becomes irresistible. You prepare to exercise, and your body insists that recovery is more important. You open a blank page to write, and your brain begs for a snack, a scroll, anything to avoid what matters. This is not personal weakness. It's the ancient programming of the human brain, designed to conserve energy, to avoid pain, to seek safety. But in the modern world, that instinct has turned against us. The first step is awareness. You cannot take control of what you refuse to see. Watch your mind closely. When does it reach for escape? Usually, it's when the work becomes difficult, when uncertainty creeps in, or when boredom stretches the silence too long. You'll feel it as restlessness, the urge to stand, to delay, to do something else. That moment is the battlefield. If you miss it, you'll act automatically, following the old path of avoidance. But if you catch it, even for 2 seconds, you open the door to power. Step 2, interruption. When you feel the pull to escape, don't sprint into distraction. Stop. Breathe. Name what's happening. I see my mind trying to run. That small pause shatters the automatic chain. In those few seconds, you move from prisoner to commander. You reclaim choice. Step 3, redirection. Once you've paused, turn yourself gently but firmly back to the task. Tell yourself, just 5 more minutes. It doesn't have to be heroic. Most resistance melts once you start again. The mind's fear of effort is like a shadow, large before you face it, small once you step toward it. Each time you re-engage, you prove to your brain that discomfort is survivable, even productive. You weaken the habit of running, and you strengthen the habit of staying. Over time, this practice reshapes your identity. You become someone who does not escape. You hold steady when others flee. You remain calm in the noise, anchored in purpose. That steadiness is what separates those who accomplish from those who only intend. But you must also understand the hidden cost of escape. Every time you give in, you reinforce weakness. You tell your mind that quitting is acceptable. One small escape becomes a pattern. One skipped task becomes procrastination. One avoided conversation becomes avoidance in every relationship. One ignored responsibility becomes a life of regret. You don't just lose time, you lose trust in yourself. Control is built through repetition. Each time you resist the urge to escape, your willpower grows stronger. Each time you stay with the task, you carve a new groove into your brain, one that favors endurance over avoidance. At first, it feels unnatural. Your impulses scream louder, but if you persist, your baseline changes. The urge to escape fades, replaced by quiet resolve. That's when you become reliable, not just to others, but to yourself. Let's bring this down to the real world. You sit down to study, and your phone lights up. The instinct to check it feels irresistible, but instead, you whisper, 10 more minutes. You continue, and the craving fades. You plan to work out, and halfway through, fatigue whispers, enough for today. But you finish anyway, and afterward you feel lighter, stronger, proud. You're in a tense conversation, and your mind wants to dodge the discomfort. But you stay, speak the truth, and walk away with peace instead of avoidance. Each of these moments rewires your mind, small acts that build an unbreakable identity. Yet control isn't only internal, it's also environmental. Your surroundings either support your discipline or sabotage it. If your phone is always within reach, distraction will always win. Put it away when you need focus. If unhealthy food fills your kitchen, your willpower will always be negotiating. Remove temptation. If you spend time with people who glorify avoidance, you'll start to mirror their habits. Surround yourself with those who confront challenge instead of escaping it. Next, anchor your focus in reason. When your mind looks for escape, it forgets why you started. Bring your purpose back into view. If you're working on your health, remember the freedom of strength. If you're building a business, remember the life it will create. If you're growing as a person, remember the peace that comes from keeping your promises. Purpose fuels endurance. Without it, the smallest resistance wins. And don't underestimate accountability. Escape thrives in secrecy. When no one knows your goals, it's easier to betray them. But when your actions are visible, to a mentor, a partner, or even your own journal, you build pressure to follow through. Tell someone what you're doing. Write down when you resist and when you slip. Visibility keeps you honest. Finally, learn to welcome discomfort. The mind flees because it mistakes discomfort for danger. But discomfort is not danger, it's growth. It's the stretching of your limits, the forging of your resilience. When you stay in the discomfort, it loses its edge. When you face it enough times, it becomes familiar. You no longer flinch. You no longer run. That is freedom, not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to stay where you must. Over time, you'll notice that the same situations that once triggered panic now leave you calm. You'll work without restlessness, train without hesitation, confront truth without fear. The world won't have changed. You will have. And still you must remember, this isn't about perfection. You will fall. You will escape sometimes. The difference is that you no longer stay gone. When you slip, you return faster. That's control. Not never falling, but rising quicker every time. But there's a deeper layer still, emotion. Most escapes don't come from tasks. They come from feelings. Fear, doubt, and insecurity are powerful drivers of avoidance. When those emotions surface, your mind offers escape as comfort. Don't accept it. Face the feeling instead. Admit your fear and move anyway. Acknowledge your doubt and act anyway. The emotion weakens each time you defy it. That's how courage is built, in the quiet rebellion against the voice that says, run. Now look ahead. The life you want is not built by perfect days, but by controlled minds. Do you want a future shaped by escapes or one shaped by strength? Every small moment of control becomes an investment in that future. Every time you resist, you build the foundation for freedom. Real freedom, born from mastery, not avoidance. So here's your challenge. Watch your mind. Catch the moment it tries to run. Pause. Breathe. Redirect. Do this once, then again, then again. Make it your ritual. Soon you'll feel it. A shift deep within. A calm certainty that grows with every moment you refuse to escape. Because that's the ultimate power. The ability to command your own mind. When you can do that, no fear, no distraction, no weakness can rule you. You stop reacting and start leading. You stop running and start creating. That is real control. That is the foundation of discipline. That is how you take back your life. There's a silence that arrives after the storm inside your mind finally obeys you. A stillness that feels like standing at the center of yourself for the first time. You'll notice it one day when pressure rises, and instead of running, you stay. The noise will come, fear, distraction, temptation, but they'll sound distant, almost powerless. You won't fight them anymore. You'll simply choose differently, calmly, quietly, with authority. And that's when you'll realize control was never about dominating the world around you. It was about mastering the world within you. Every time you refused to escape, you built a fortress of focus, one brick at a time. And now, when others crumble in chaos, you'll remain composed, steady as stone, grounded in purpose, unmoved by noise. Because the mind you once had to chase is now your greatest ally. And the peace you once searched for is no longer something you find. It's something you are. True leadership begins in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when your mind screams for escape and you choose to stay anyway. Composure isn't built in calm waters. It's shaped in the chaos you refuse to run from. You'll know you've stepped into real authority the day you can command your own thoughts with the same steadiness others wish they had. Not through force, but through presence. Not by silencing the noise around you, but by mastering the noise within. That's what separates those who chase control from those who embody it. A calm so unwavering that even uncertainty bends around it. Because leadership isn't about controlling people. It's about leading your own mind through fear, through doubt, through the temptation to escape, and walking out the other side with grace. When you can do that, you don't just hold authority, you become it. Chapter 4. Do the work, even when your feelings fight against it. Some mornings will test your strength before you even move. You'll open your eyes and instantly feel the weight of resistance pressing down on you. Your mind will whisper that you need more time, that you deserve a slower start, that today is not the day. And if you listen long enough, you'll believe it. You'll convince yourself that waiting will make it easier, that motivation will somehow return and rescue you. But it won't. Motivation is the first thing to disappear when the work gets real. The ones who rise aren't those who wait for better moods. They're the ones who work through the worst of them. Discipline is not built when you feel inspired. It's built when you feel nothing at all and still choose to move. It's built when you show up to the quiet, heavy moments that no one celebrates. It's forged in silence, in fatigue, in the internal resistance that tells you you've done enough. That's when you decide who you really are, when you act while your emotions beg you to quit. Your feelings are not villains, but they are unreliable guides. They shift with circumstance, sleep, stress, and fear. They can't be trusted to determine your direction. The person who waits to feel ready spends a lifetime circling the same starting line. The person who acts regardless of feeling builds progress, brick by brick, until the foundation beneath them becomes unshakable. When you act despite resistance, you train your mind to obey your vision instead of your mood. That's where freedom begins, when you stop living at the mercy of internal weather. You no longer need a good day to make progress. Every day becomes an opportunity because you've built the power to act through discomfort. Every great achievement in human history, every breakthrough, every invention, every victory was created by someone who refused to be led by their feelings. The athlete who trains on tired legs, the artist who paints through doubt, the leader who makes hard decisions without applause, they all share one truth: action before emotion. Your mind, however, will always tempt you with ease. It will tell you the work can wait, that starting later will make it smoother. But delay never brings peace. It amplifies discomfort. Each moment you hesitate, the task grows heavier, the guilt louder, the energy lower. Resistance feeds on postponement. The only way to defeat it is through action, immediate, decisive action. Once you move, you take back control. Once you begin, momentum becomes your ally. It's not about ignoring emotion, it's about mastering it. Feelings can coexist with action. You can feel tired and still deliver. You can feel uncertain and still move. You can feel unmotivated and still finish the job. Discipline doesn't deny emotion, it simply refuses to kneel before it. To develop this ability, structure matters. Set systems that don't depend on how you feel. If you've chosen to begin at a certain hour, begin. Don't debate it. Don't bargain with your mind. Systems remove emotion from decision-making. They make commitment automatic. Discipline grows in environments where excuses have no room to breathe. When a task feels overwhelming, shrink it. Don't look at the entire climb, just the first step. Tell yourself, 5 minutes. Sit down, open the document, send the email, take the call. That small start is a quiet act of defiance. It breaks the inertia. The first action always unlocks the next one. And when the resistance feels strongest, remind yourself why the work matters. Emotion narrows your vision to the pain of now. Purpose widens it to the promise of later. The discomfort of effort fades quickly. The discomfort of regret lasts forever. Ask yourself what's heavier, the weight of discipline or the weight of what could have been. The answer is always the same. Every time you move through emotion and into action, you build self-trust, the most powerful form of confidence. Confidence isn't born from inspiration, it's born from evidence. When you prove to yourself again and again that you can do hard things no matter how you feel, you begin to trust your own word. That trust becomes unshakable. You stop wondering whether you'll show up. You simply know you will. Without that foundation, life becomes a series of broken promises. You start with good intentions, but surrender to moods. You build guilt, not progress. Guilt breeds hesitation, and hesitation kills momentum. That's the loop most people never escape. Emotional obedience disguised as waiting for the right time. The only way to break it is to act before you feel ready and collect small wins until action becomes your default response. The magic lies in what happens afterward. Once you finish the task you didn't want to start, you feel stronger. Pride replaces dread. Energy replaces exhaustion. Motivation, the thing you were waiting for, finally arrives because it's created by movement, not the other way around. The work itself generates the feeling you thought you needed first. Start training your brain to associate comfort with completion, not avoidance. Delay gratification. Finish the work, then rest. Earn the pleasure of stillness. Over time, your mind will begin to crave productivity over procrastination because it's wired to chase whatever gives it reward. Build rituals that help you move through resistance. A familiar playlist, a certain light, a pre-task phrase, anything that signals to your brain, now we begin. Ritual bypasses emotion and replaces hesitation with rhythm. And mind your language. The words you use with yourself shape your mindset. I don't feel like it becomes permission to fail. Replace it with it's time. Direct, clear, final. Every time you command yourself to act, you strengthen the link between intention and execution. Eventually, you stop expecting the work to feel easy. You stop needing to feel inspired. You stop negotiating with comfort. Instead, you begin to respect resistance because you've learned that resistance is proof you're growing. The discomfort that once held you back becomes the signal that you're on the right path. That's when you become unshakable. Calm under pressure, steady in chaos, consistent no matter what storms inside you. That's when others start to notice something different about you. They can't quite explain it, but they feel it. A kind of authority, a quiet strength. That's the energy of someone who leads themselves first. Do the work even when your feelings fight against it. That is how you build composure that doesn't crack, discipline that doesn't waver, and confidence that doesn't need approval. That is how you separate emotion from identity and replace impulse with integrity. Because in the end, your emotions were never supposed to lead. They were supposed to follow. And when they finally do, when your actions set the rhythm and your feelings fall into step, that's when you'll understand the essence of mastery. You no longer chase motivation. You embody it. Someday, you'll stand alone in a room lit only by the quiet hum of your own effort. No crowd, no praise, no spark of inspiration left to carry you. Just you and the weight of what must be done. And you'll do it anyway. Not because it's easy, not because it feels good, but because you've built yourself into someone who no longer needs permission from emotion to act. That's what leadership really is. Not commanding others, but mastering the chaos within yourself. Composure isn't the absence of feeling. It's the refusal to let feeling decide your fate. The world follows those who can stay grounded when the noise rises, who can move with clarity when others freeze in confusion. Personal authority doesn't come from how loudly you speak or how confidently you appear. It comes from the private moments, the unseen ones, when you act with integrity no matter how tired, doubtful, or afraid you are. That is when your character signs its name in silence. And one day, you'll look around and realize you've become the person people can rely on, not because you're fearless, but because you've learned to stand steady when fear arrives. The storm never stopped. You just stopped bowing to it. Chapter 5. Train your brain to stay steady under real stress. Stress is not the enemy. It's the proving ground, the invisible weight that either breaks you or builds you, depending on how you carry it. Every life, no matter how successful or peaceful it appears from the outside, is filled with stress. Deadlines that tighten the chest, financial strain that wakes you at 3 a.m., uncertainty that pulls at your sense of control, conflict that tests your patience. You can't eliminate stress. You can only decide what it turns you into. The truth is, two people can stand in the same storm and walk away completely different. One collapses, the other grows sharper. One sees crisis, the other sees training. The difference isn't luck, upbringing, or privilege. It's conditioning. Your brain, like a muscle, adapts to what you repeatedly face. If you always run from stress, you train fragility. But if you face it deliberately, one moment, one breath, one challenge at a time, you train composure, mental toughness, and clarity. The strongest people are not those who avoid pressure. They're the ones who use it to refine their focus. Stress is neutral until you give it meaning. And if you choose, it can become the most powerful teacher you'll ever have. When pressure hits, your brain sounds the alarm. Your pulse quickens, your breathing shortens, your thoughts scatter like frightened birds. It's the body's way of preparing for threat. But in modern life, most stress doesn't require escape. It requires execution. When you react instead of respond, you lose clarity. The goal isn't to eliminate this reaction. It's to master the pause that follows it. That pause is where leadership begins. Between stimulus and response lies the space where you decide who you are. In that space, you can either spiral or stabilize. You can either give control to emotion or reclaim it through awareness. A single breath, a few seconds of stillness can mean the difference between collapse and composure. Training steadiness starts with exposure. You cannot grow calm by avoiding discomfort. You must practice stepping into controlled stress, manageable doses that stretch you without breaking you. Finish a task when it feels heavy. Speak when your voice trembles. Confront conflict without escaping it. Every time you do, you teach your brain that pressure is survivable. Over time, that truth rewires your nervous system. And when stress comes again, as it always will, your mind no longer panics. It recognizes the pattern. It steadies itself because it has been here before. That's resilience, the ability to stay functional under fire. Breathing is your most immediate tool. Under pressure, your body wants to accelerate. Shallow breath, tense muscles, racing heart. But slow breathing is a direct signal to your brain. I'm safe. It calms the nervous system, clears the fog, and allows thought to return. Just 5 slow breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, can transform panic into presence. You're not ignoring stress, you're regaining access to your intelligence. Reframing comes next. What you tell yourself about stress determines how heavy it feels. If you interpret pressure as danger, your body will treat it as a threat. But if you reframe it as a test, as proof that you're being strengthened, it becomes lighter, not easier, but more meaningful. The weight doesn't vanish, but it becomes something you choose to lift. Perspective is power. Remind yourself that stress means you're alive, that life still trusts you with responsibility, that your presence still matters enough to face hard things. Stress doesn't visit the idle, it visits the capable. Structure helps too. Chaos feels larger when it's undefined. A mind full of vague worries feels heavier than a list full of concrete tasks. Write everything down. Break large problems into steps. Create order where emotion created noise. When your plan becomes visible, stress loses its edge. Clarity turns panic into direction. Focus is another form of power. When overwhelmed, your mind will jump from what happened to what might happen to everything that could go wrong. That scatter is how energy drains. Force yourself to narrow attention to one thing, the next useful step. Ignore the noise. Handle what is directly in front of you. Progress, even if small, rebuilds control. Your body is your anchor. A strong mind cannot survive in a neglected body. Sleep, nutrition, and movement are not luxuries, they are stabilizers. Exercise teaches endurance. Sleep restores clarity. Proper nourishment balances energy and emotion. A strong body holds the weight of stress without cracking. The mind can only stay steady when the body beneath it is not breaking. Preparation is quiet strength. Too many people live surprised by difficulty, shocked when things go wrong, offended by adversity. Expect it. Expect setbacks, delays, frustration, and change. When you normalize challenge, you remove its ability to paralyze you. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, I knew this was part of it. That simple mindset shift turns chaos into choreography. Detachment is another crucial skill. Stress feels unbearable when you confuse a single moment with your entire life. When everything depends on one outcome, every obstacle feels like an ending. But you are not your results. You are not the project, the job, or the failure. You are the one capable of learning through it. Step back, breathe, and remember that stress is temporary. A scene, not the whole story. Every moment of stress is feedback, an invitation to see where you still need training. If confrontation tightens your chest, practice communication. If deadlines overwhelm you, strengthen your planning. If uncertainty frightens you, expose yourself to small risks until it doesn't. Each discomfort carries the blueprint of your next level. What feels heavy today becomes tomorrow's warm-up. Zoom out when the pressure feels unbearable. Ask yourself, will this still matter next month? Next year? Perspective collapses the illusion of permanence. Most of what feels catastrophic today will fade into memory. Seeing this truth shrinks stress back to size. And amid all of it, never abandon gratitude. Gratitude doesn't deny hardship, it balances it. When your focus narrows to what's wrong, thankfulness widens it to what's right. Your body still breathes. You still have choices. You still have time. Gratitude reminds you that not everything is broken, and that realization alone can steady your mind. Training your brain to stay steady under stress is not a single act. It's a lifestyle. It's choosing, again and again, to breathe before reacting, to think before panicking, to stay present before collapsing. It's facing discomfort instead of running, viewing challenge as training instead of punishment. It's building the kind of strength that doesn't show in your words, only in your stillness. When practiced daily, that steadiness becomes your armor. You no longer fear pressure because you've learned it cannot break what you've built inside. Stress becomes familiar, even useful, a signal that you're still growing, still in motion, still alive. That's how true confidence is earned. Not by eliminating pressure, but by learning to move gracefully within it. Leaders aren't those who never feel stress. They're the ones who've learned how to breathe inside the storm. Life won't stop testing you, but you can stop flinching. And when you finally do, when you can stand in chaos with a calm mind and a steady heart, you'll realize you've mastered the rarest kind of power, control over yourself. And that is where real composure begins. One day you'll walk through a storm that once would have broken you, and you'll notice something different. Your hands won't shake. Your breath will stay slow. Your thoughts will move in order, not panic. The world around you will still roar, but inside, there will be quiet. And in that quiet, you'll recognize the reward of all your training, not the absence of stress, but the presence of strength. That calm won't be arrogance. It won't be denial. It will be authority, the kind that cannot be borrowed, only built. The kind that turns chaos into clarity and fear into focus. Because real leadership doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from controlling the space within yourself. When that moment arrives, you'll understand what true power feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady, grounded, and unshakably yours. Chapter 6. Push forward when laziness whispers to stop right now. The moment you begin to rise, the mind will test you. It won't come as a storm, it will come as a whisper, soft, caring, convincing. It will tell you that you've done enough for today, that you've earned your rest, that stopping now is harmless. It will sound reasonable, it will sound kind. But that whisper is not your friend. It is the oldest trick in human nature, the quiet enemy that has killed more dreams than failure ever could. It is laziness, gentle in voice, brutal in consequence. Laziness doesn't arrive when you're weak. It comes when you're close to progress, close to growth, close to the moment that would have changed everything if only you had taken one more step. It comes when your alarm rings before sunrise and the warmth of your bed feels like heaven, when your muscles shake under the weight of effort, when your mind tells you that tomorrow will be easier, that no one will notice if you stop. It always shows up in disguise, dressed as comfort, wearing the mask of care, whispering that rest is self-love. But that's how it wins, by making surrender look noble. If you obey that whisper, you repeat a silent cycle that few ever escape. You start strong, lose fire, and end in regret. You promise yourself you'll try again tomorrow, but tomorrow brings the same whisper, and the same surrender. And soon, quitting no longer feels like quitting. It feels normal. It becomes part of who you are. That is how potential dies, not with a crash, but with a sigh. You must understand, laziness is not a lack of energy. It is the addiction to comfort. It's the craving for ease that poisons discipline, the desire for relief that robs you of pride. Each time you stop when you could continue, you are not resting, you are rehearsing weakness. You are training your mind to accept less than it's capable of, and what you practice, you become. Every act of surrender writes a story in your identity. every unfinished task becomes a quiet message your brain remembers. I don't finish things. I give up when it's uncomfortable. You might not say those words out loud, but your subconscious keeps the record. And that record becomes your reflection, the mirror that tells you who you are when no one is watching. But there's another way. You can rewrite that story, not with words, but with resistance. Every time you push through the whisper, you tell your mind something different. I do not stop when it hurts. I do not need to feel ready. I move because I said I would. That is where real self-respect begins, not from achievements or praise, but from the quiet proof that you can rely on yourself. When laziness whispers, remember this rule: go further, always further. If you plan to stop at 10, do 12. If you plan to work for 1 hour and fatigue hits at 40 minutes, stay for 10 more. Those extra minutes, the ones you think don't matter, are the sacred ground where average people quit and great people are born. Every time you go beyond your comfort, you expand what's possible. You will never rise by listening to the voice that begs you to stay still. Laziness thrives in confusion. It grows in the spaces where your goals are blurry. When you say, I'll work on this later, or I'll start tomorrow, you create fog. And fog is its favorite hiding place. To destroy it, you need clarity sharper than excuses. Define what you must do. Name it. Time it. Finish it. When your task has a face and a deadline, the whisper loses its charm. And when it still speaks, ask yourself a question that burns. What will it cost me if I stop now? Because stopping never costs nothing. It costs the pride of completion. It costs the momentum that could have carried you forward. It costs the trust you have in yourself. And that trust, once lost, is hard to rebuild. The truth is, laziness doesn't just delay your progress, it rewires your belief about who you are. Every time you quit early, you reinforce the identity of someone who can't handle discomfort. But each time you push past that moment, even just once, you prove to yourself that you can. That proof is power. That proof is transformation. Don't wait to feel motivated. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like weather. Discipline is different. Discipline is the sun that rises whether you feel like it or not. It doesn't ask for your mood. It demands your movement. Because once you start moving, motivation will find you on the way, never before. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows decision. When you decide, truly decide, that laziness will not rule you anymore, your energy changes. The excuses lose their weight. The bed loses its pull. The whisper becomes background noise, and action becomes instinct. And here's the truth that most people never realize. You don't overcome laziness once. You overcome it every day. You win the battle again and again. In every early morning, in every heavy workout, in every unfinished project calling you to stop. The war never ends, but neither does your strength. Each time you push forward, you grow stronger. Each time you surrender, you shrink. The difference between your current self and the one you dream of being is made in those 5 minutes when you want to quit but don't. So the next time that whisper comes, and it will come, don't argue with it. Don't reason with it. Don't even listen. Stand up. Move. Do one more rep. Write one more line. Take one more breath of discomfort, and then another. Because action suffocates the whisper. Motion kills hesitation. There's a kind of peace that only the disciplined know. A deep, unshakable peace that comes from knowing you didn't quit. It's not the shallow peace of comfort. It's the quiet pride that lives in your chest when you realize you've earned your own respect. Because real rest only feels good after real work. Real rest follows effort, not avoidance. The nap after victory feels different from the nap after surrender. The first fills you with satisfaction. The second fills you with guilt. Know the difference. Chase the first. Refuse the second. Over time, the voice that once controlled you becomes small. You'll still hear it, but it won't move you. It will whisper and you'll smile. Because now you recognize it. You've faced it before and you've beaten it. You know its tricks. You've learned to expect resistance and walk through it like wind. That's when you stop being controlled by your moods. That's when you become dangerous. Because a person who no longer needs to feel ready to act, a person who no longer negotiates with laziness, a person who moves forward regardless, that person cannot be stopped. So, when laziness whispers to stop right now, remember this. This moment is not small. This moment is sacred. The way you handle it shapes who you become tomorrow. You are not just fighting the desire to quit, you are shaping your future self. One choice, one breath, one refusal at a time. Keep pushing, keep moving. Keep choosing growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure, action over excuses. The whisper will fade, the strength will stay. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the war you fought with laziness wasn't about work at all. It was about freedom. The freedom to act without hesitation. The freedom to trust your own will. The freedom to live life on your terms. So push forward. Not someday, not later, now. Because the moment you stop listening to laziness, that's the moment your real life begins. At some point, life will demand that you lead, not others, but yourself. Not with loud words or titles, but with quiet command. True leadership begins when you no longer need applause to move, when your actions flow from conviction instead of comfort. Composure is the language of those who trust their own direction. Authority is the quiet force of those who no longer chase control. They are control. So as you step out of this moment, remember, the strongest presence in any room is not the one that speaks the most, but the one that doesn't waver. The one who stands still when the world shakes. The one whose calm turns chaos into order. That's who you're becoming. The person who doesn't just act with power, but moves like power itself. Let this silence carry you there, into that next chapter, where your calm becomes your command, and your discipline becomes your legacy. Chapter 7. Win over your mind by sticking to simple promises. Your mind is always paying attention, even when you think it's not. It's watching every move you make, every word you say, every promise you keep, and every one you break. It's not judging you, but it's keeping score, quietly, constantly, precisely. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and then actually follow through, you send your brain a powerful message. I can trust myself. But every time you say you'll do something and then don't, you send the opposite message. My words don't mean much. This is how self-respect is built or destroyed. If you say you'll wake up at 6 and you rise at 6, your brain notices. If you say you'll drink more water today and you actually do, your brain marks it down. If you promise to finish that task before the day ends and you do, your brain learns that you are dependable. But when you break those small promises, when you tell yourself later or tomorrow and never follow through, your brain learns that your words are flexible, optional, unreliable. And when that pattern repeats enough times, confidence begins to fade. Because deep down, you can't fully believe in someone you can't rely on, even when that someone is you. Winning over your mind is not about giving big speeches to yourself or making huge declarations about how you'll change your life overnight. It's about building a reputation with yourself, one small promise at a time. The smallest promises are the ones that matter most because they happen the most often. They shape your identity quietly, day by day. If you want to rebuild trust with yourself, don't start with something extreme. Start with something you know you can keep. Promise to make your bed every morning and keep it. Promise to read 10 pages and do it. Promise to take a 15-minute walk and don't skip it. These acts may look small, but to your brain, they're proof. And proof is what builds belief. Each time you follow through, your brain's belief in you grows stronger. You begin to create an identity of reliability. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone who wishes, but as someone who follows through. That identity is powerful because it's built on evidence. It's not based on mood or emotion or temporary motivation. It's based on fact. Most people fail not because they can't do hard things, but because they overwhelm themselves with promises that are too big to sustain. They decide to transform everything at once, to change every habit overnight, to rebuild their whole life in one weekend. And when they fall short, their brain takes note again. We don't follow through. That failure, even if it seems small, erodes trust. A better way is to go smaller and steadier. Build confidence by collecting wins. Build belief through repetition. Build proof through the small things. When you can trust yourself to handle the little tasks, the bigger ones stop feeling impossible. Confidence doesn't appear suddenly. It's built like a staircase. You don't leap to the top, you climb, one solid promise at a time. Each step is made from a commitment you've kept. Your promises are personal contracts with yourself. No one else has to see them or approve them. But how you handle those contracts determines how you walk through the world. When you keep them, you carry quiet strength. When you break them, you carry invisible guilt. Think about that feeling when you said you'd do something and didn't, the heaviness in your chest, the quiet disappointment that lingers even if no one else knows. Now compare it to how you feel when you finish something you committed to, even if it's small. There's pride, clarity, satisfaction. That's your mind's way of saying, thank you for keeping your word. Winning over your mind isn't about perfection. You'll miss sometimes. You'll forget sometimes. That's human. What matters is the pattern, that most of the time your actions match your words. That's what creates reliability. Reliability creates belief, and belief is what unlocks consistency. When your mind trusts you, you stop wasting energy debating whether you'll actually follow through. You free up that energy for progress instead of excuses. You stop living in internal negotiation. You stop questioning whether today will be different because you already know it will be. To make this work, your promises need to be simple and clear. Vague promises are easy to escape. I'll be more productive means nothing. I'll finish this report by noon gives direction. I'll eat healthier is unclear. I'll skip soda for 7 days is measurable. The clearer the promise, the harder it is to run from. And here's something most people miss. Never overpromise to yourself. It's better to set a small goal and crush it than to set a massive one and fail. Confidence grows through completion, not through ambition. Start with what you can manage, then expand. Just like building muscle, you start light, then go heavier over time. Keeping small promises builds resilience. When life gets hard, when pressure rises or doubt sets in, your brain will look for patterns. If your pattern is, I keep my word, you'll stay steady. If your pattern is, I make excuses, you'll fall apart. That's why discipline built through small commitments is stronger than motivation built through emotion. Discipline lasts. Emotion doesn't. The way you talk to yourself matters too. Never speak casually about commitments. Every I'll do it tomorrow weakens your credibility. Every it's not a big deal teaches your brain that promises can be broken without consequence. If you say it, mean it. If you don't mean it, don't say it. Protect your word, because that word is the foundation of your relationship with yourself. When you keep promises, your mind stands behind you like a loyal friend. It remembers your victories. It reminds you of your proof. But when you break them, your mind becomes hesitant. It reminds you of failure. That hesitation is the quiet voice of self-doubt that shows up right before every big decision. So the question is, what story is your mind going to tell about you? A story of broken promises or a story of proof? Because what you do today writes tomorrow's story. Every kept promise becomes tomorrow's confidence. Every broken one becomes tomorrow's hesitation. You decide which you're building. Over time, something powerful happens. Your standards rise. You start expecting more from yourself because you've proven you can deliver. You stop tolerating laziness and excuses. You don't need anyone to motivate you anymore. Your own results do that for you. That's when you've truly won over your mind. When your thoughts and actions move in the same direction, when your word becomes law to your behavior, and when keeping promises no longer feels like discipline, but like identity. And that's freedom. Freedom from guilt, from doubt, from inconsistency. Freedom to lead yourself with strength, calm, and self-respect. Freedom to walk through life knowing that whatever you promise, you'll deliver. It all begins with one decision: to treat your smallest promises like sacred commitments. Because when your mind knows it can trust you, you stop chasing confidence. You become it. Leadership doesn't begin when people start listening to you. It begins when your own mind does. The moment your actions speak so clearly that your thoughts fall silent, that's when real authority is born. True composure isn't the absence of chaos. It's the ability to stay steady while chaos looks you in the face. When you lead yourself with honesty, when you honor your own word, you stop chasing control. You become it. Your presence starts to change a room before you even speak. People can feel it. That calm, grounded certainty that only comes from someone who no longer breaks promises to themselves. Carry that quiet strength with you now into the next chapter, where composure becomes power and leadership begins not with command, but with complete command of self. Chapter 8. Break the cycle of delay by acting in the moment. Delay is the quiet thief that steals your future one harmless moment at a time. It never arrives as danger. It arrives as comfort. It whispers softly that you can do it later, that you'll feel more prepared tomorrow, that the perfect moment is right around the corner. But that whisper, gentle as it sounds, has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Because delay doesn't ruin your life all at once. It does it slowly. It convinces you to sit down for 5 minutes, to think about it a little longer, to start after lunch, to start next week, to start when you feel ready. And every time you believe it, it takes something from you. A piece of time, a fragment of momentum, a spark of courage. You don't notice it right away, but the cost adds up quietly until one day you realize that your potential has been traded for convenience. Every delay teaches your mind the same lesson. Hesitation is safer than motion. And once your brain learns that pattern, hesitation becomes your default. You start to live your life in pause mode, always planning, rarely doing, always preparing, never beginning. You start mistaking thinking for progress, but thinking about change and living it are two entirely different things. The truth is, you will never feel perfectly ready. Readiness is a myth created by hesitation to justify its existence. The energy, the clarity, the focus you think you're waiting for, they only show up after you begin. The act of starting is what awakens them. Your brain is built to protect you from discomfort. The moment effort appears, it tries to pull you back to safety, to ease, to routine, to delay. That's why you find yourself saying, "I'll do it later," even for things that matter. But later is the language of avoidance. Later is how fear disguises itself as logic. The only cure is action, immediate, imperfect, fearless action. When you act in the moment, you break the pattern of hesitation. You teach your mind a new rule, that discomfort is not danger and motion is not to be feared. Even a small action, sending the message, making the call, opening the document, interrupts the habit of delay and replaces it with momentum. Think about how much time you've already lost to hesitation. The hours spent thinking instead of doing, planning instead of moving, imagining instead of beginning. The longer you wait, the heavier everything feels. Delay turns effort into fear and fear into paralysis. But once you act, the weight drops, the air clears, the resistance melts. That's why action is sacred. It doesn't just create progress, it heals hesitation. It reminds you that you're capable, that you can move even when you don't feel like it, that your will is stronger than your comfort. Every time you start, no matter how small the step, you weaken delay's hold on you. Action is your way of telling the universe, "I'm ready to participate in my own life." The greatest lie you will ever hear from your own mind is, "I'll do it later," because later doesn't exist. Later is a graveyard where your goals are buried. How many ideas have you lost to that lie? How many opportunities have faded because you waited for the right time? The right time is never found. It is created by movement. Even a single step forward changes everything. Your energy, your focus, your confidence. That's because motion creates emotion. The more you move, the more alive you feel. The more you act, the less resistance you face. You don't need to finish everything today. You just need to start. Because starting breaks the spell of inertia. The first move is the hardest, but it's also the most important. It's the proof that you're no longer controlled by delay. When you start, your brain shifts from thinking about effort to experiencing it. And experience is always smaller than imagination. The task that looked overwhelming in your head becomes manageable in your hands. That's the magic of beginning. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for inspiration. Stop waiting for everything to align. Life will never pause long enough to give you the perfect stage. Progress happens in chaos, in the noise, in the distraction, in the discomfort. Perfection is the enemy of progress. You don't need perfect, you need momentum. You break the cycle of delay by building a new identity, the identity of a person who acts quickly. Each time you move without overthinking, you reinforce that identity. You start believing, "I'm someone who acts, I'm someone who moves." That belief, repeated through action, becomes your truth. This is not about rushing. It's about refusing to be ruled by hesitation. Acting in the moment doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means doing something right now. When a task feels too large, shrink it. If it feels too far, take the next visible step. If fear tries to slow you down, act before it finishes its sentence. The faster you move, the quieter fear becomes. And remember, delay doesn't only steal progress, it steals peace. The guilt that comes from unfinished work weighs more than the effort of finishing it. Even when you rest, you can't fully rest because your mind keeps replaying what you've postponed. Action is the only way to earn real rest, the kind that comes from completion, not avoidance. Every time you take action, you win two battles at once. You get something done, and you strengthen the part of you that knows how to begin. The real secret is this: life doesn't reward those who think the longest. It rewards those who move the fastest after thinking. The gap between intention and execution decides everything. If you shorten that gap, you change your entire trajectory. Your environment can either make delay easy or make action automatic. Surround yourself with cues that make movement simple. Clear your space, silence distractions, prepare your tools before you need them. Design a world where doing is easier than delaying. And when fear whispers, "What if I fail?" answer with action. Because even failure after effort teaches you something delay never can. Delay keeps you in theory. Action brings you into truth. You don't need more time. You need more courage to use the time you already have. Imagine your life if you simply acted when you said you would. Imagine the momentum, the clarity, the calm confidence that would come from knowing that when you decide, you move. That version of you doesn't wait for perfect, they create it. They don't plan forever. They begin, adjust, and keep going. That's the person who wins. That's the person who builds an unbreakable life. So the next time you hear yourself saying, "I'll do it later," recognize it for what it is. Hesitation trying to hold you hostage. Cut it off before it grows. Move now. Send the message. Open the file. Start the set. Take the step. Each time you do, delay loses its power. Each time you do, confidence grows louder. Your life will not change when you finally feel ready. It will change the moment you decide that waiting has taken enough from you, and you refuse to give it another minute. You don't need to wait for the right time. You are the right time. And your future begins the instant you act. Every decisive person you've ever respected carries one secret they never brag about. They made a quiet promise to themselves long ago. A promise that when hesitation whispers, they will move anyway. No debate, no delay, no drama. Just movement. That private vow becomes the silent engine behind their progress, the reason they seem calm when others freeze, the reason opportunities find them instead of passing them by. Because life always bends toward those who act with clarity. When you stop negotiating with hesitation, time begins to obey you. The world around you reacts differently. People listen more carefully, your choices carry more weight, your voice sounds different. You stop chasing control and start radiating it. That's composure, not stiffness, not suppression, but an inner stillness that gives direction to everything around you. This is the kind of power that doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it doesn't need permission. It simply decides. When you live that way, your movements become intentional, your words become final, and your days begin to follow the lead of your own discipline. That is personal authority. The invisible gravity that makes people trust your pace, your tone, your silence. So take that strength with you now, the strength of someone who moves not because they feel ready, but because they have decided. Let that calm certainty guide you forward. Because in the next chapter, we go deeper into the kind of power that doesn't just act in the moment, but owns the moment. Chapter 9. Grow tougher each day by saying yes to discipline. Discipline is the quiet force that turns ordinary people into the ones who never break, never fold, and never drift too far from the path they promised themselves they'd walk. Every time you choose it, you grow tougher. Every time you avoid it, you stay the same. And in a world where comfort is worshipped, choosing discipline is the most radical act of self-respect you can make. Life constantly places you at a crossroads. One path leads to comfort, easy, familiar, and endlessly forgiving. The other leads to discipline, hard, demanding, and filled with small battles no one will ever see. The choice you make in those everyday crossroads decides the entire direction of your life. When you get up instead of hitting snooze, that's discipline. When you finish your work before relaxing, that's discipline. When you honor a promise even though it's inconvenient, that's discipline. Each of these decisions might seem insignificant, but together, they forge something powerful. toughness. Not the kind that shows on the surface, but the kind that lives deep inside you. The kind that can't be taken away when things fall apart. Discipline is misunderstood by most people. They see it as restriction or punishment, as something that limits freedom. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline is freedom. It's the gatekeeper of self-respect. Without it, you become a prisoner of your impulses. You eat when you shouldn't, you quit when it hurts, you delay what matters most, and you let emotion dictate direction. Without discipline, your comfort controls you. With discipline, you control you. That's where real power begins. With discipline, you know you'll show up. You know you'll follow through. You know you'll do what must be done, even when it doesn't feel easy. That self-trust is the foundation of toughness. Because toughness isn't born, it's trained. It's created every single time you say yes to effort when your body says no. Think of every moment you've resisted temptation, every time you finished a task despite exhaustion, every time you've held your standard when no one was watching. Those invisible victories are the bricks that build resilience. And the more you collect them, the tougher you become. What once felt impossible starts to feel normal. What once broke you loses its power. That's the transformation discipline creates. Not overnight, but through repetition. Through days that seem ordinary but build something extraordinary. Discipline rarely feels good in the moment. It demands consistency when your mind wants variety. It asks for commitment when your emotions are uncertain. It insists on action when you crave rest. But that's exactly why it changes you. Because comfort never will. Growth only happens when you choose resistance over relief. Saying yes to discipline doesn't mean grand sacrifices or massive gestures. It often means doing the small, unglamorous things no one will notice. Waking up when you said you would, keeping your word when no one else cares, doing the extra set, the extra minute, the extra call. Those small repetitions are what harden your spirit. Over time, they reshape how you see yourself. Discipline stops feeling like something you do and starts becoming something you are. That shift is the birth of toughness. When you live with discipline, chaos loses its grip. Life will always bring stress, uncertainty, and moments that test your resolve. If you haven't built discipline before those moments, you will crumble under pressure. But if you've trained yourself daily to act with intention, you'll stay steady even when everything shakes. Discipline is a reservoir of strength you can draw from when the storm hits. It's the voice that says, "I've been here before. I know how to stand tall in hard moments." You cannot wait until life gets difficult to build toughness. You must build it in advance, through small daily choices that sharpen your will. That's why disciplined people appear calm in chaos. Their strength wasn't born in the storm. It was built long before it arrived. One of the greatest gifts of discipline is clarity. Without it, your mind feels scattered. You wake up unsure where to begin. You waste energy debating what matters. But discipline removes that noise. It cuts through confusion by giving you order. You know what must be done, and you do it, regardless of mood, regardless of motivation. That decisiveness is what toughens the mind. When you stop negotiating with yourself, you free your energy for progress instead of arguments. You stop overthinking and start executing. To live with discipline, you need standards, clear rules you set for yourself about how you operate. Maybe your standard is that you never skip your workout, that you finish work before relaxing, that you never break a promise once it's made. Every time you honor those standards, you strengthen your core. Every time you break them, you chip away at your own trust. The difference between strong and weak people is not talent, it's consistency. The strong keep their standards when emotions waver. The weak make exceptions every time it's inconvenient. Motivation won't save you. Motivation is a guest that shows up when it feels like it. Discipline is a companion that stays even when you don't want it to. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. When you rely on discipline, you no longer ask, "Do I feel like it?" You simply say, "It's time." That shift from emotion to execution is what forges unshakable people. Anyone can act when it's easy. The ones who grow tougher are those who act when it's not. Think long term. A person who says yes to discipline every day will be unrecognizable after a year. Sharper, stronger, calmer, more grounded. They've built proof that they can handle hard things. Meanwhile, the person who says no to discipline each day will grow weaker, more hesitant, and more easily shaken. The difference between those two lives begins with small daily choices. And remember, discipline is not perfection. You'll slip, you'll fall. But toughness is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. When you get back up, when you return to your standards after failure, you grow stronger than before. That's what unbreakable people understand, that consistency after failure is worth more than perfection without effort. You can train toughness deliberately. Add small challenges into your day. Take the stairs, wake up earlier, resist a craving, stay a little longer in discomfort. These moments build your mental armor. They tell your brain, we move through resistance, not away from it. Each small challenge prepares you for the bigger ones. Track your victories, write them down. Each time you say yes to discipline, record it. When doubt creeps in, that record becomes proof. A reminder that you've already done what was hard, and you can do it again. That proof builds confidence, and confidence reinforces discipline. It's a cycle of strength. The more you live this way, the more immune you become to the distractions and temptations of the world. The stronger your discipline, the harder it is for anything to pull you off course. You become someone who doesn't need to be pushed, reminded, or watched, because you've already built self-command. Imagine the quiet pride that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. That pride isn't loud, it's steady. It lives in your posture, in your presence, in the way you handle pressure without flinching. That's what toughness feels like. Not arrogance, not aggression, but grounded self-control. So when life gives you a choice, and it will, again and again, choose discipline. Choose it when it's easy. Choose it when it's inconvenient. Choose it when no one else will. Because each time you say yes to discipline, you're not just doing something hard, you're building someone strong. There's no shortcut to toughness, no secret technique, no fast way to build a mind that doesn't fold. It happens in the grind, in the repetition, in the daily decisions no one sees. It happens in saying yes to discipline when every part of you wants to say no. And when you live that way long enough, you realize something beautiful. That discipline was never the cage. It was the key to freedom, the key to strength, the key to a life that you can trust yourself to carry all the way to the end. At some point, the noise will quiet, the world will slow down, and you'll be left alone with one simple question: can I count on myself? Not when things are easy, but when everything inside you wants to stop. In that silence, the answer won't come from your words, your hopes, or your promises. It will come from your history. From every small decision where you chose discipline over comfort, effort over ease, consistency over impulse. That record becomes your proof. That proof becomes your strength. Discipline is not loud. It doesn't shout for attention or demand applause. It works in private, in the hours no one celebrates, in the choices no one witnesses. But one day, its results will speak for you, through the way you carry yourself, through the calm in your eyes, through the composure that cannot be faked. That's the mark of someone who has learned to lead themselves. The kind of leadership that doesn't need authority to be seen, because it radiates from within. Real endurance isn't about outlasting everyone else. It's about refusing to abandon your own standards, even when the world gives you 100 reasons to. It's about showing up on the days when inspiration is gone, when progress feels invisible, when the only thing keeping you moving is the quiet promise you made to yourself to never stop showing up. And one day, without fanfare or announcement, you'll notice that the weight that once broke you now feels light, that the tasks that once terrified you now feel normal, and that the storms that used to shake you now pass without pulling you apart. That is what calm strength feels like, not the absence of struggle, but the presence of composure in the middle of it. So carry that steadiness with you. Keep choosing discipline, not because you must, but because it's who you've become. The kind of person who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't flee from responsibility. The kind of person who walks with quiet authority because they have earned the right to trust their own word. And as you move forward, remember this: discipline isn't about control, it's about liberation. The freedom to act with purpose. The freedom to stay true under pressure. The freedom to be the same person privately that you are publicly. Hold that freedom close, because in the next chapter, that freedom will meet something greater. and everything you've built within will be tested in ways that only the strong can endure. Chapter 10. Strengthen your mind by showing action controls your life. Your mind becomes stronger not by thinking more, but by proving every single day that action, not emotion, governs your life. Thoughts will try to talk you out of progress. Feelings will try to drag you back toward comfort. But strength is built the moment you stop obeying them. When you move, even when your mind says wait, you take back command. Most people live trapped in their heads, planning, imagining, overanalyzing, yet rarely acting. They confuse motion of the mind with movement of the body. They dream endlessly but build nothing. They say, I know what to do, but they never do it. And that's the tragedy, because intention without execution means nothing. Only action changes anything. When you begin to act, your mind starts to reshape itself. It learns that your thoughts are not idle suggestions but orders. It learns that when you decide, you follow through. That's when self-belief becomes real. Not when you feel inspired, but when you see yourself obey your own direction. Mental strength is not created in silence and reflection. It's created in motion. You don't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Each small act of follow-through builds psychological muscle. Every time you say you'll do something and actually do it, your brain takes note. We are reliable. Each time you hesitate or break your word, it records the opposite. We can't be trusted. And that record becomes your identity, the story your mind tells you about yourself every time life asks, can we handle this? The truth is simple. Action builds strength. Inaction builds doubt. That's why waiting for motivation is one of the greatest traps of the human mind. Motivation is fragile. It comes and goes like weather. If you depend on it, your life will be as inconsistent as your moods. The strongest people act first and let their feelings catch up later. They move through resistance, not around it. Because once you start, momentum takes over. Resistance fades, energy rises, focus sharpens. That's the paradox. You don't need motivation to act. You need action to feel motivated. If you want to strengthen your mind, start training it in small, simple, repeatable ways. Do the thing you said you'd do, immediately. When you promise yourself you'll wake at 6, rise at 6. No argument, no delay. When you commit to working for an hour, start at the minute you planned. When you tell yourself you'll read 10 pages, open the book and turn the pages. These moments may seem trivial, but they are not. They are micro repetitions of mental control. Each time you follow through, you make a deposit into your account of self-trust. And that trust is worth more than anything you can buy. Your mind is always seeking evidence, proof of who you are. Every action answers that question. Each yes you give to your commitments tells your mind, we can rely on ourselves. Each no you give to your excuses tells your mind, we are in charge here. The more evidence you build, the quieter your doubt becomes. The opposite is also true. Delay breeds hesitation. Avoidance breeds anxiety. The longer you think instead of act, the heavier every task becomes. A conversation delayed becomes tension. A task postponed becomes guilt. A goal ignored becomes regret. But the instant you move, the weight starts to lift. The moment you act, your brain feels lighter because you've replaced uncertainty with motion. That's how action builds resilience. It teaches your mind that problems aren't solved by analysis, but by engagement. The more you face what you fear, the less fear can manipulate you. Overthinking is the enemy of strength. The more time you spend spinning in your thoughts, the louder your doubts grow. But the moment you act, the fog clears. You realize most fears are illusions, most problems are smaller than imagined, and most resistance was just a trick of the mind. Each time you silence overthinking with action, you harden your resolve. You build mental calluses that protect you from hesitation. You stop needing the perfect plan because you've learned that progress doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from doing something. Excuses will always sound convincing. They'll disguise themselves as logic. You're tired, you deserve rest, tomorrow will be better. But excuses are habits wearing rational clothes. The moment you act in spite of them, you shatter their power. That's the precise second growth happens, not in comfort, not in agreement, but in rebellion against your own limitations. If you want to measure your strength, stop counting ideas and start counting actions. Plans are not progress. Thoughts are not work. Only what you execute counts. At the end of the day, ask yourself not what you meant to do, but what you did. That simple habit rewires your brain to value movement over intention, proof over potential. And with time, something shifts. Acting becomes natural. You stop waiting for readiness because you've proven to yourself that readiness follows movement. You stop calling yourself inconsistent because your history now says otherwise. Each action chisels away at the weaker version of you, revealing a mind that is disciplined, grounded, and in control. To reinforce this, start your days with motion. Don't wait to wake up. Begin with an act of completion: exercise, journaling, deep work, something that requires focus. This sets the tone. Action decides the day. As hours unfold, keep stacking movement on top of movement. Not everything has to be perfect, but something must be done. Every small victory builds a rhythm your mind will learn to trust. Do the things you resist most, because resistance is not a warning, it's a compass. It points directly toward what will strengthen you. If you dread the call, make it first. If you resist the task, open it now. If you fear failure, step forward anyway. Each time you act through discomfort, your mind becomes quieter. Your emotions learn their place. They begin to follow you instead of lead you. That's what it means to have mastery over yourself. Eventually, something profound happens. You stop chasing motivation, you stop waiting for control, and you start embodying it. You live with proof that you are in command of your own energy, your own focus, your own direction. When you live this way, your peace deepens. You don't carry guilt from broken promises or half-finished plans. You rest easier because you've earned rest through effort. Action gives you that peace. The kind of peace that doesn't fade when the day ends because it's built on evidence. And yes, you will fail sometimes. You'll slip, delay, forget, fall short. But what makes the mind truly strong is not the absence of failure, it's the speed of recovery. Each time you return to action after hesitation, you strengthen your mental armor. Over time, your entire identity changes. You no longer ask, "Can I?" You act, and the question answers itself. Action is not glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it is sacred, because each time you act, you prove to yourself that your life is yours, that thoughts may visit, emotions may sway, but your will decides. That is how you strengthen your mind. That is how you rise above hesitation. That is how you build a life of direction, calm, and unstoppable progress, one act at a time. Strength is not born in grand moments of victory. It's forged quietly in the unglamorous repetition of choosing action over hesitation, focus over distraction, truth over comfort. The true test of a person is never what they intend to do, but what they consistently follow through on when no one is watching. That's where character is built, in the private decisions that define how you lead yourself when emotion and logic collide. The strongest minds are not those untouched by doubt, but those that have learned to move through it with calm precision. They don't allow feelings to dictate direction. They don't chase perfect timing. They understand that progress belongs to those who act, not to those who wait for permission. Each deliberate action, no matter how small, becomes a declaration of control, proof that you are not a passenger in your own life, but the one holding the wheel. When you live this way, something begins to shift within you. Discipline stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like freedom. Effort stops feeling heavy and starts feeling natural. Confidence no longer comes from hope or luck. It comes from evidence, from knowing that when it's time to move, you will. This quiet assurance changes the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you think. It's the calm that doesn't need to announce itself, the authority that doesn't need validation. Every day, the world will offer you two choices: hesitation or movement. One drains your potential, the other defines it. The person who keeps waiting will spend a lifetime explaining why they never began. The one who acts will spend a lifetime building proof that they were capable all along. Your legacy is written not in what you dreamed about, but in what you did about those dreams. Action is not simply the tool of achievement. It is the discipline that shapes identity. When you act with intention, your mind reorganizes itself around strength. Doubt loses its voice. Fear loses its urgency. Distraction loses its grip. You become clear, direct, and grounded. You become someone whose confidence does not fluctuate with outcomes because it comes from process, not results. This is what real authority feels like: the ability to command yourself, to stay composed under pressure, to keep moving forward when emotion wants to retreat, to speak less of what you plan and show more of what you've done. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's not temporary, it's steady, deliberate, earned. And the truth is, no one gives you that kind of strength. You build it through each small action that honors your word, through each decision that demands follow through each moment you prove to yourself that action controls your life. You build it through every quiet repetition that tells your mind, we move when it's time, not when it's easy. So as you stand at the close of this journey, remember what this entire path has been about. Not perfection, but progression. Not constant motivation, but consistent movement. The greatest transformation doesn't come from a single act. It comes from the habit of never stopping. Let this truth settle in deeply. Your actions are the architecture of your mind. Every choice, every discipline, every small step reinforces who you are becoming. You don't need more time or better luck or louder support. You only need to decide and then move. The power has always been in your hands. And when you choose action, the world eventually bends to your consistency. That's the strength you've built, and it will carry you anywhere you choose to go next. Before you go, take a moment to breathe in everything you've built inside yourself. The focus, the calm, the quiet certainty that you are no longer the same person who first pressed play. You've learned to listen to your own command voice, the one that says, move now, not someday. That voice is the beginning of every transformation, and it already lives within you. This journey, Force Your Mind to Do Hard Things, was never just about endurance. It was about awakening the part of you that's been waiting to lead. The part that doesn't negotiate with weakness, doesn't bow to excuses, and doesn't wait for life to get easier before getting stronger. You've proven that you can rise through resistance. You've proven that discipline is freedom, and that real confidence comes from action, not from hope. Now, as this book closes, remember, nothing changes until you do. The lessons only become power when they're lived, in the small moments, in the quiet decisions, in the unseen hours when no one is watching but you. So start today. Apply what you've learned. Move, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because those moments, the ones that ask for your strength when it would be easier to give in, those are the moments that shape the life you're here to live. From all of us at Book Sounds Better You, thank you for spending your time, your focus, and your energy on this journey of growth. Your attention is something sacred, and it's an honor to have shared these hours with you. If these words reached you, if they stirred something in you, don't let that feeling fade into silence. Let it become motion. Take what you've heard and let it echo through your choices, your habits, your days. Share it with someone who needs it. Pass it forward. Because strength multiplies when it's lived out loud. And as you step into what's next, may your mind stay steady, may your actions stay true, and may your life expand in ways that reflect the power you've built within. Thank you for listening to Force Your Mind to Do Hard Things. And remember, your potential begins the moment you decide to act. This is Book Sounds Better You, where your next breakthrough always begins within.